Grounded 2 just released today in early access, and I'll be honest, it was difficult for me to remind myself this is not the full feature complete sequel. I got hands-on time about a week before launch and was very happy to know that our unfortunate teen who gets shrunk down again does not actually have to start over from scratch on relearning survival skills. So here's what I thought about my time in Grounded 2 and whether you might like it or not. Everything Obsidian learned from the first Grounded has clearly been implemented and even improved in the sequel just in early access. Grounded 2 genuinely just feels like it picks up where the first one ends, since you don't really lose that much progress and skills. I know, trust me, it sucks to lose your base you worked so hard on, but there are so many nicer items and tools in Grounded 2 that you'll probably end up forgetting about that base. I won't though, I spent so much time on that. So in Grounded 2, you're shrunken down again, but it seems to be of your own accord to follow Dr. Tully, who was seen tearing off Burgle's head. We're not really sure though. By the time we get shrunk down, we seem really disoriented, there was something that happened, so we're not entirely sure what our motivations were. So obviously there's a lot of questions to be answered, but at least this time we're prepared for being shrunk. The tutorials on building and unlocking new recipes are pretty streamlined, and you end up unlocking new things incredibly quickly compared to the first time through Grounded. You even get this new Omni tool that acts as a shovel, hammer, wrench, and wrench. Now, I know a lot of people are concerned this makes the game easier, but it really doesn't. I mean, in order to acquire more equipment available to the Omni tool, you need to collect specific resources to unlock or improve those specific items. I believe when you first pick it up, you only have access to the axe. The axe, shovel, and hammer are fairly easy to unlock within an hour of playtime, but the wrench actually requires more time in the game. You still have to work to unlock each of the items and grind to improve each specific tool for higher tier resources, just like the previous game, but with individual gear. Unlocking better tools is just now in one place and more streamlined. With the Omni tool, you can just walk up to a resource and hit the button to start harvesting. You don't need to have a specific tool out since the Omni tool doesn't actually appear in your inventory and is just readily available. So this does save you quite a bit of space in your backpack and hotbar. Also, the best part, the Omni tool doesn't break. From what I played, I don't believe you can use the Omni tool in combat, so you do have to craft specific hammers for busting damage and other weapons for slashing damage. So it's not like you don't have a reason to create these other things. I'm personally all for having this all-in-one Omni tool belt since I end up carrying way too many resources at once and want more space, but I know others might feel differently about a more streamlined experience, specifically returning players. In my opinion, this is a great way to make the early game feel less like a slog and help players get into the real heart of Grounded 2.
You've heard about the cool changes going on at Omni, but have you seen our new headquarters? It's transparent! Just like our new guidelines for involuntary experiments. No more teenagers.
The story of Grounded 2 is a big focus in the sequel, much more than it was in the original. I really loved the way the cinematic expands on Omni as a company, and their new CEO, director, Sloan Beaumont, who wants to do things better. Ironically, she does say that they won't use any more teenagers, but that promise obviously goes out the window in the first 5 minutes. You wake up in an abandoned, almost destroyed Omni facility and realize that Dr. Tully is now missing and an Omni employee is actually holding Burgle hostage. Something awful has happened here, and apparently it's up to you, again, to help Beaumont to find out what's gone wrong. The big catch is the new director actually being honest with you. She sounds super sweet and she doesn't sound like she's lying and she actually wants the best for you, but is that really the case? Grounded 2's story is great at immediately grabbing your interest and introducing new mysteries to solve. In my opinion, the story is much more in your face than the previous, since before you'd get bits and pieces as almost an afterthought when you pick up cassettes or stumble across dead bodies. Grounded's original story was a bit harder to follow when your objectives would get muddled with everything else you were doing. Grounded 2 seems to take care of that by giving you the next priority at the top of your next goal and tagging the proper locations to visit to get closer to reaching that next mission. I'll be honest, the story in the original was really just an afterthought to me when I started because I just wanted to get to a cool spot and build. But as I progressed through the story, after looking up guides on what the fuck to do next, I realized the narrative was actually pretty intriguing. So I'm really glad that Grounded 2 is focusing more on their story beats and making that a little bit more readily visible to players. The map is huge in Grounded 2, about 3 times the size of the backyard from the original. And this time, the teens are in Brook Hollow Park, a location filled with new landmarks to uncover, like ice cream trucks. Don't worry, there are still giant billy hogs to eat and plenty of juice boxes to quench your thirst. Since it's such a big map, you'll most likely want to get your insect mount ready to go. About an hour into Grounded 2, I was able to get to the mission where I had to take an ant egg out of a hill and begin my hatchery. I probably could have gotten to that point faster if I didn't stop to build a tiny shack, but I needed somewhere to be home base. You can get to the egg retrieval quite quickly into the game, which is good and bad. The good is you have an egg for a new friend. The bad? You have to risk your life getting all the resources needed to hatch that new friend, and that could take a while. But since the mount can help you carry resources and fight off harder creatures in the beginning, the struggle is honestly worth it. If you follow the story present in early access, you'll finish the quest lines pretty easily within a few hours if you're really grinding. But that's similar to what Grounded originally presented in early access, but with a much smaller map. You can still grind to find raw science, find new creatures, discover new building materials, level molar skills, or just explore. If you like survival crafting games with a good story, you'll really like Grounded 2. If you like those kinds of games with a bit more story material, maybe wait to buy Grounded 2 until the next few updates. But if you really just enjoy crafting and building bases, I'd say Grounded 2 is worth the $30 right now. Returning players will most likely still enjoy this as well, even if you feel like the progress or building has been simplified. There's still enough new content in Grounded 2 that will keep you occupied. I'm currently still playing through the first game to finish the story before I officially move on, but it's good to have the sequel since I can create a whole new mansion there. So essentially, for those coming back from Grounded 1, you already know Grounded 2 is worth the early investment.
The park has been evacuated and sealed off by Omni. We've received footage from the aftermath of the explosion, which appears to show Dr. Tully assassinating Burgle. The beloved robot was best known for grilling hamburgers and saving the lives of the 4 teenagers. The motivation for the beheading is unknown. Dr. Tully and the teenagers' current whereabouts are also unknown.